So to add a space, we're going to come over here and click on create space. And here we're going to have to give it a name. So I want to create a space for my marketing department. So I'm just going to name it marketing and click on next. Then we can also give it a description, but I'm going to skip this step. So I'm going to click on next. And here we can add a color for this space and maybe even an icon that would make sense. So maybe type in marketing. Okay, so there's nothing specific for marketing. So I'm just going to go with the M and maybe choose the orange color and then click on next. Here we can decide if we want to make this space public for all of the team members of the entire workspace, or we can also make it private and then manually add all of the team members that should have access to this space. Now, if you're the only one using this workspace, the choice doesn't really matter. But if you're going to be working with a team, it might make sense to just keep it private for now and then just add all of the people that should have access. In my case, everyone that is in the marketing department. So I'm going to keep it private for now and click on next. And here we can define different default statuses for our tasks within this space. So by default, we only have two statuses. We have to do for every task that we add, and then we have complete. And we can manually switch it from to do to complete for when we have completed our task. But we could also add more statuses. So for example, we can click on add status and then type in progress, hit enter, and we can also choose a color. And now we can add a task. It will have the status to do. And then once we start working on the task, it will go to in progress. And then we can switch it to complete once we're done. And here on the left side, we also have some templates that we could use. So under content, you can see we have a lot of active statuses here, but I actually like to define my statuses for each task list individually. So what I'm going to do here on the space level is just click on custom and then stick to these two statuses, to do and complete, and click on next. And here we can add some click apps for this space. I recommend to just keep the default settings for now, and later on you can always come back and add more apps. So let's just click on next. And here we can activate different default views for this space, but we're going to talk more about views and how to add them later in the video. So for now, we can just move on and click on review space. And here we get a summary. So if everything looks good, we can click on create space. And now we can see our first space here on the left side called marketing. And when we take another look at the ClickUp hierarchy, we can now see that we have our workspace called Medics Media in my case. And we also have our first space called marketing. And we can also see that we already have one list inside of our space, because whenever you create a new space, then one list will be already added, which is the third level in the hierarchy. Now we can change the name of this list or just delete it later on. But for now, I want to create a few more spaces. So I'm just going to click on create space once again, and then go through the exact same process. So now I've added a few more spaces for different departments of the company. So we have one for marketing, sales, product development, customer support, and events. Now, obviously, these are going to be different for your workspace. I'm just using them as an example here, but keep in mind that on the free plan, you're going to have a maximum of 5 spaces that you can add. And if you need more than that, you're going to have to upgrade to a paid plan. So I recommend to keep your spaces fairly general so that 5 are going to be enough for your workspace if you want to stay on the free plan.